Let's get one thing straight. Orania is not your enemy. Orania is your mirror. And most South Africans hate looking in the mirror because it shows them the truth. A little white conservative community out there in the Karoo, building their own economy, running their own schools, having their own money, raising their own kids, and people start panicking. But what are they panicking about? It's not racism. No, if it was racism, you'd be angry at your own government for the racist policies they run daily. The way they steal opportunities from your youth, sell jobs to political connections, and keep poor people of all races locked in poverty. You'd be angry at the corruption that's making everyone else starve. But Orania, you're mad at a small town that's minding its own business, that has their own banks, their own currency, their own police station, their own farms. You're not angry because they're bad. You're angry because they're doing something you should have done many, many years ago. They didn't wait for the government to rescue them. They didn't wait for tenders. They didn't blame apartheid for every morning over cereal. They just said, let's build, and they built. And that right there is the problem. Orania doesn't remind you of racism. It reminds you of your own potential. It reminds you that you could have had a working community too, but instead you were stuck in places where the schools were broken, the streets are dangerous, and our own people are stealing from us in power. And instead of fixing that, we find it easier to shout down with Orania. But here's the kicker. You can't scream down what you've never stood up to match. Orania is a reflection, and you're just angry at your own face in the mirror. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. You're busy complaining about Orania, while your real enemies are robbing you blind. Every week, another corruption scandal drops. Another load-shedding excuse. Another protest where no one shows up unless there's a camera. And yet, the only time South Africans seem truly unified is when Orania trends on Twitter. Burn it down! It's apartheid! No, brother. Apartheid is when your school has no textbooks. Apartheid is when you get treated like a criminal and absolute garbage at the hospital because you're poor. Apartheid is when politicians loot disaster funds while babies drown in floods and in orphanages. Meanwhile, Orania is doing its own thing there, and they're not even using your tax money. That's the craziest part. You're mad at people who are not even draining your system. Meanwhile, the ANC has drained every department, every fund, every municipality, and they're still in power. Make it make sense.